Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Yep, we're gonna do 3 more videos today. I'm sorry this is later than it should be. This video that'll be posted tomorrow should have actually been posted today, the 22nd, but it'll be posted the 23rd because I got busy, which is ironic because we're in quarantine right now and we shouldn't be doing anything. I'm telling you, I didn't leave the house. I was in the house being lazy. And then by the time I was wanting to record at the end of the day, I had other shit to do because I didn't do it all day. Yeah. So here we are. This is His Reasons, a Todoroki X Reader fanfic by AshleyH713. We're going to do season 3 chapter 15, and then I'm going to record the 2 Shigaraki X Reader stories, and then I might shower. I'm not sure. It depends on how late it is. If it's like 9 or 10, I probably won't. I'll just wait until tomorrow. If it's 8:30, I guess maybe 9. I'd be okay with 9, but I think Davina would be going to bed at like 8, so 8:30, I think, because it takes her an hour to fall asleep. I don't know. Maybe I won't. It's so late, maybe that's a tomorrow task. Yeah. And this person is pretty much saying the writer she decided to save Katsuki's confession to the next chapter, so it'll have its own spotlight. It says, enjoy this pain. Oh no. Yeah, let's begin. The next day, Amari stared at herself in the mirror while straightening her tie and trying to force a smile onto her face. Well, she tried, but unfortunately the girl just couldn't muster anything right now. She had barely even slept last night, and after her conversation with Endeavor... you get what I mean. Ignoring the heavy bags under her eyelids, she heard the loud knock on her door and sighed. It was ritual for Katsuki to come and get her every morning, so that must have been him. Amari grabbed her bag before meeting her brother without a word. Bakugo could clearly see her tired expression and sullen stance, calling her out on it right away. Jeez, Amari, you look like shit. Usually she would have been annoyed with that, but the girl could only lower her eyes, muttering back, "Great, thanks." Her voice sounded so defeated and drained, like the spark inside her blew out and now she was just a hollow shell. Bakugo couldn't help but think about what he saw last night, wanting to call her out on that as well, but held back somehow. Now wasn't the time. Amari turned her head towards him then, a small amount of interest in her tone along with confusion. "Why are you staring at me?" Blinking in surprise, Katsuki broke his gaze, not realizing he had been staring in the first place. "No reason. Come on. Get your ass moving already, will ya?" Then he grabbed both her shoulders before dragging his sister out of the dorms and towards their classes. Amari just let him do as he pleased, though, not really seeing the point in stopping him anyways, which concerned him even more. She wasn't usually this passive. Seeing the gates in the distance, the twins started to hear the other students talk about them, the rumors just as fresh as ever. Katsuki balled his fists at this, wanting nothing more than to put them in their place. "Why, you..." But before he could yell at them, Amari placed a hand on his arm, lowering his fist with a defeated sigh. "It's not worth it, Katsuki. No matter what you do, it's not going to stop them." Shaking his head in disbelief, Bakugo ripped his arm away from her, not liking what he was hearing. It was like she was giving up and believing those stupid rumors. "Okay, just what the hell is wrong with you today? Why are you letting them say that crap? They need to know that no one makes fun of my sister and lives." Although all he got was a half-hearted shrug. "As much as I appreciate the support, it's a lost cause. There's no point in arguing with them." Katsuki was stunned by her response. Was this really the same girl that threatened the number 2 hero and fought her way into the hero course? It was like she was a completely different person now. "Who the fuck even are you right now? 'Cause you're certainly not my sister. When did you become such a pussy? Don't let them say that crap to you." Closing her eyes for a moment, Amari spoke back, this time with a small bit of malice. "I'm just trying to face the facts. Why even try to change their minds if all they're going to do is see a villain. He opened his mouth to reply when another voice beat him to it. Amari-chan! Ka-chan! They turned to find Deku running up to them, laying eyes on Amari first. Hey, Amari-chan. How are you doing with everything? I haven't really gotten a chance to talk to you, and I know it can't be easy. All he got in response, though, was a heavy sigh followed by a reply, I'm still living, aren't I? Deku didn't expect that response, though. Yeah. That's always good, I guess. Well, at least you got Ka-chan and Todoroki to help you. Oh, and me, of course. I'm always here if you need to talk to someone. Giving a half-hearted nod, she muttered back, Thanks. He noticed her disinterest and tried a new approach, giving a reassuring smile. I can kind of understand a little about what you're going through. I was quirkless before and remember how hard it was. You're really strong for pushing through all this. I know it must be really hard. Feeling a slight irritation in the back of her throat, Amari willed the conversation to be over. What he went through and what she had to deal with were totally different things. I'm gonna have to pick those up later. With everything going on, the last thing she wanted was to talk about her feelings right now. Midoriya, please stop. I don't want to talk about this now. Yet, Deku didn't stop. Too muffled? Muffled? I don't know. In his own words. But I think even without a quirk, you're amazing, Amari-chan. Everyone thinks that, especially Ka-chan and Todoroki. Shaking her head, Amari gritted her teeth at that, not wanting to hear any more, answering back a bit more firmly. She was just tired of everything. Damn. Can't see him. She was just tired of everything, and hearing Todoroki's name right now felt like a knife in her chest. Midoriya, stop it. Although, in his ramblings, Deku didn't hear her annoyance and only continued. And I mean, maybe this isn't all bad. You just gotta think of the positivities. This caused the girl to stop in her tracks. Positivities? Feeling slightly put off by her response, he began to ramble, not really controlling what he was saying. Yeah, I mean, there's gotta be something good to come out of this, right? You just have to find it. Mari stared at the ground for a second before letting her lips curve into a cruel, sickening smile. Something within her snapped then, the frustration starting to seep out little by little. She saw nothing good in this state. She was losing everything. All right, then, you want to do me a favor and tell me what these positivities are, then? Then she stepped toward the boy, her voice raising with each word. The girl's careless and monotone behavior turned into anger and rage in a single second. I was promised the hope of becoming a hero only for it to be ripped away from me. I'm losing everything I ever held close in my life, and I can't even leave this stupid-ass school because the world thinks I'm a villain, hurting the people around me just by fucking existing. So yes, please go on and tell me what the good side of all this is, Deku. At her words, Deku's face fell, realizing he had been careless with his words. Then he realized that she had just called him by the name Ka-chan gave him as an insult, the one that meant useless. Mari seemed to realize it as well, shaking her head as her voice lowered, now panicked. She really was just like her brother, huh? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you that. I'm sorry, Then her eyes caught a very familiar flash of red and white, turning to find Todoroki staring at them. No, he couldn't watch her fall apart like this. And she couldn't talk to him yet. She wasn't ready. Feeling the need to disappear, the girl then took a step back, bowing apologetically. I'm sorry, Midoriya, I have to go. Then she ran away from the boy, Todoroki, and the crowds, just as Deku reached out towards her, confusion and shock in his features. Amari-chan, wait, it's okay, don't leave. But it was too late. The girl was gone just as Todoroki approached him, confusion in his features. What happened? Watching his hand fall, Deku's eyes saddened. I think I hurt Amari-chan. I shouldn't have said those things. Obviously, all this is really hard for her. Todoroki stared in the direction of where she went and felt a sharp pain in his chest. That was twice that she ignored him. There was something going on. Something he didn't know about. She's just dealing with a lot. I wouldn't take it to heart, Midoriya. Deku nodded his head sadly before turning to before staring with Todoroki. Yeah, I just wish I could help her. Looking down at the floor for a moment, the boy couldn't help but agree. What could he even do to make this all go away? Me too. After class, Amari was looking out the window when she felt a tap on her shoulder. At first she thought it was Shinso, who had just left to get a drink from the vending machine, turning her voice into something sarcastic. That was fast. Are you sure you don't have a running quirk, Shinso? Cracking a smile, she turned around only for her face to drop. It wasn't Shinso, but rather the boy she had been avoiding the past couple of days. Todoroki. Amari. At his touch, Amari jumped away, stepping back a couple inches before stuttering back, now clearly nervous. Who knows who could see them like this? She had to leave as soon as possible. Oh, hey, Shoto. Sorry, but I can't talk now. I really gotta go. Frowning at her words, he watched her try to run away, only for the boy to clamp down on her arm firmly, stopping her movements altogether. Amari, please, we need to talk. Why are you avoiding me? She shook her head at that, laughing nervously. Avoiding? Pfft, what? Never. I just really have things to do, and... Although, once again, he wasn't convinced. I know when you're lying to me. Did I do something wrong? Please, tell me what's happening with you. He was so sweet, so much so that it made Amari stop, reaching to touch his face lightly. Of course not. You are just as wonderful as always. It's just... She paused when a couple students walked by, whispering as they went, causing Amari to drop her hand back to her side. She knew she had to tell him about Endeavor's conversation, but didn't have the heart or courage yet. Todoroki seemed confused at this, before gaining an idea, now reaching forward and relinking his hand with hers. Come on. Not fully understanding, the boy then started to drag Amari out of the school and lead her towards the main gates of the academy. What was he even doing? As they reached the front, though, Amari stopped him. What was he even thinking? She couldn't go out there. Todoroki, wait, I can't leave, remember? I'm still on house arrest. But just as she said that, the boy reached into his bag and pulled out a blue sweatshirt. Then he threw the object in her direction before replying. It's all right. I got All Might's permission during lunch. Here, put this on. Still not really understanding, Amari touched the fabric before putting on the jacket and lifting the hood above her eyes while letting Todoroki drag her past the gates. Still not really knowing what he was planning. They walked down the street for a while, Todoroki staring at Amari the entire time as they went. There was something about her, something off. He supposed it was from all the stress and pressure she had been through lately, though. Maybe this would be able to help her. He stopped then, pointing to a small coffee shop in the corner and going inside. Soon they found themselves sitting at a small table with 2 slices of chocolate cake in front of them. Shoto, what are we doing here? Pushing the plate towards her, he replied, I thought you could use a change of scenery. That school can be rather suffocating from time to time. She stared down at the dessert before fearing a strong wave of emotion crashed into her, although trying to shove it down all at once. Why was he so sweet? He must have been worried about her behavior. You didn't have to do this. Although the boy just shook his head. Of course I did. Now go on. Let's not talk about everything right now. Just enjoy your dessert. He handed her a fork and Amari slowly took it, thanking him silently for not bringing up her situation right now. Todoroki knew that she didn't want to talk about it, and he also knew that she had probably heard enough about all this villain talk. They just wanted to go back to something normal for once. Taking a bite of cake, her taste buds jumped in excitement, although the girl could only let out a half-hearted smile. It's good. Todoroki nodded his head and let her eat in silence, although he couldn't help grow even more concerned by the way she was acting. It was like she was defeated somehow, like her words only muster out a small bit of excitement anymore. The same fiery and outspoken girl he came to love was now nowhere to be seen, only left with a hollow shell of herself. Just how much was she hurting right now? What wasn't she telling him? The questions crashed into his mind all at once. Amari, on the other hand, couldn't stop thinking about the conversation they were going to have after this tiny moment of bliss. She felt so safe in his presence. It was devastating to know that all of that would have to go away soon. After they exited the coffee shop, the two walked side by side for a while before seeing the sun setting on the horizon. Had they really been out this long without speaking more than 5 words to each other? Mari realized that he must have thought she was crazy for not speaking that long, although he somehow didn't seem to mind. was like he just enjoyed being with her. Soon they found themselves overlooking the city in the same place that she poured her heart to him and took him about her condition. It seemed only just that this would be the place to end everything. Grasping his hand onto the railing in front of him, Amari took in a deep breath of courage before forcing her other hand off of his and putting on her best brave face. She could do that. She could do this for his happiness, for his dream. Todoroki was understandably confused by her action, now watching the girl take a step away from him, almost like she did in school. Amari, what's wrong? Choosing to stare down at the floor for a couple moments, the girl shook her head. I can't do this anymore. Still not understanding, he tried to approach her, only for Amari to step back even more. What are you saying? Can't do what? Closing her eyes for a moment, Amari threw her out in exasperation. I can't say it. I can't do it. Mari threw her hands out in exasperation. I can't do this anymore, Todoroki. I'm sick of you. God, that hurt. The words crashed into him all at once, feeling a mix of confusion and heartbreak enter his body. She was sick of him? No, it couldn't be. Did something happen? Why are you even saying that? You told me you loved me. I can't. His voice grew even more sullen, causing Amari to crack a tiny bit, stuttering on her words all at once. Yeah, I don't love you anymore. So you should just go. I don't want to see your face again. She turned away from him then and started to leave, but Todoroki wasn't satisfied with that. He needed answers. He needed to know what was going on. Grabbing onto her arm, he cried out, "Wait! Don't just leave after saying that. I don't understand. Is there something I did? Did I hurt you somehow? Amari, please. I want to understand. Don't just shut me out." His words cut into her all at once, now finding it even more impossible to continue with the script she rehearsed, although she still had to try. There is nothing to understand. What is there to not understand? I don't love you anymore, Shoto. So just leave me alone. Don't talk to me anymore. Don't look in my direction. Don't even come near me. I hate everything about you. I hate how sweet and caring you are and how clueless you are at the littlest things. When will you understand that? I can't. I can't. Feeling her hands grip her arms, Amari's words caught in her throat, a sob threatening to escape her all at once as she crumbled to the ground. I can't do this. I can't. Why can't I do this? I practiced so much last night, and I just can't. Todoroki's eyes widened at this, running over to her in panic. Amari, what's going on? Please tell me what's happening. Why did you say those things? Shaking her head back and forth, she replied, I'm sorry, Shoto. This was supposed to be easy, but look at me. I'm such a coward. I can't even say those things to you. I can never say them. He touched her shoulder and felt his heart drop when her body shook underneath the surface of his palm. Then all of those things were lies. You're not sick of me. Mai turned her brow into one of desperation, then turning around and locking eyes with Todoroki desperately. No, of course not. How could I ever be sick of you? I wish I could have been. It would have made all this easier, but I just can't. I'm sorry. Was she really apologizing for not being sick of him? What was even happening? Amari, please tell me what's going on. Something has changed with you, and there's something you're not telling me. Did you think I haven't noticed you ignoring me the last couple of days? You're starting to worry me. Grabbing onto his shirt, Amari looked at the floor for a moment before muttering back, Do you remember back at the sports festival when I told you that the last thing I wanted was to ruin you with our relationship? Todoroki still didn't really understand, but remembered that conversation very clearly. Just letting her continue, now wiping her tears away from her eyes. Well, your dad came to me yesterday, and at the mention of his father, 1,000 warning bells rang off in his head, now feeling extremely anxious and gripping her shoulder roughly. What? What did that scumbag say to you? Did he hurt you? Let me see. Amari watched him trail his fingers down her arm, checking for any sign of injury, but finding none. What? No, he didn't do anything. We just talked. A long sigh echoed out then, still feeling on edge, but happy to know his father hadn't done anything to her in a physical sense. But that all changed when he heard her next sentence. Shoto, I think you should go to the marriage interview. Rejection crashed into him all at once, feeling his hand fall from her shoulder, his slight anger building up in his throat. What? What are you saying? That scumbag did something to you, didn't he? Tell me, Amari, did he threaten you or something? Although her eyes could only crumble, feeling a sense of frustration in her own voice. Do you really think I'd let that asshole threaten me? No, of course not. He only told me the truth I never wanted to face. He eyed her with anxiety as Amari touched his face sadly. I know you've noticed how people treat me because of everything. The world thinks I'm a villain, no matter how hard I try to deny it. Hearing about the harassment she's been through, Todoroki reached up his hand to her cheek, trying to reassure her. All of those people are blind, choosing to believe some story rather than who you actually are. You are not a villain, and I would never see you as that. Don't start to believe those lies. His words were sweet, but Amari knew better, touching his hand lightly. Thank you, but it doesn't matter what we think. The public have already condemned me, and now it's hurting the people I love. You are suffering from my mistakes, and I can't stand it. Leaning closer to her, Todoroki intertwined his fingers with hers. Amari, I don't care about what anyone else says. Yes, I've heard the rumors, but neither they nor my father decide how I should live my life. The girl shook her head, though, now reaching behind her back and pulling out the same magazine that Endeavor showed her. Did you know about these? This, though. Todoroki carefully took the pages before flipping open the first one and reading the contents. His eyes grew wide at the words on the page. All of these reporters were saying such terrible things about Amari and himself, calling him not worthy enough to be a hero. Why would they do this kind of thing? Tightening his hold on the stack of paper, he narrowed his eyes in anger before pulling out his cell phone and typing a few buttons, confusing Amari. What are you doing? Shaking his head in reply, he replied, I'm going to call the company and force them to take these articles down. Enough is enough. Although the offering was sweet, Amari knew better, placing a hand on his arm and pushing it down. Hey, come on. You know that's not going to do anything. Other outlets will just find out and accuse you of covering it up. That's the same as saying those rumors are true. Plus, that sounds like something your father would do. At his father's name, Todoroki dropped his phone, not wanting to become like that scumbag, yet still seething. I hate that you're right, but why must they continue to spread such lies about this? It's so obvious that they are twisting the narrative, and yet no one believes us. Nodding her head sadly, Amari agreed. That's what your father and I talked about, and he came up with a plan so you can earn back the public's trust and still become a hero. Yet it seemed Todoroki wasn't convinced, stripping his hand away from her. I want nothing to do with my old man. If he suggested something, then I want no part in it. Is that why you said that ridiculous statement about the marriage interview? Mari's eyes saddened though, now feeling her hand grow colder without his warmth. Do you think I like this either? Because I don't. And I don't want to listen to that asshole, but he has a point. The only reason you are getting criticized right now is because of me. Standing up from his spot on the grass, Todoroki turned away from her, clearly angrily. Can you see he's trying to use you in some way to break us apart? I can't believe you would just go along with something like this, Amari. She turned her brown frustration, then chose to stand as well. You're not listening to me. Don't you understand what's going on here? Without the public's approval, you will never be a hero, and you will never complete your goal. He knew she was right, but still chose to deny it, knowing that he couldn't live without her anymore. I don't care. If that means that we have to separate, then I'm fine with not being a hero. Widening her eyes in disbelief, Amari gasped, racing forward and slapping the boy roughly on the shoulder, much to his dismay. Ow, Amari, what are you? But as he turned around, the boy saw her tear-filled expression, looking at him with utter heartbreak as she cried back, I can't. Don't you dare say that! You and I both know that being a hero is everything to you. Don't just say you're going to give up. Give that up for something stupid. You actually have the chance to complete your goal. Todoroki could only stare dumbfounded as Amari shook her head, her voice cracking on each terrible word. When will you understand? I can't live the rest of my life knowing that I was the reason you had to give up your dream. I know it sucks, and I don't want to have to listen to your dad, but we're kind of out of options, Shoto. God, that hurt. That hurt the soul. Her voice lowered then. Listen, I hate this just as much as you do, but for now, you have to at least make the public think you aren't associated with me. I'm not saying you have to get married or engaged or anything like that, but if you at least go to the marriage interview, it will prove to them that you are not corrupted by me. Shaking his head, Todoroki didn't like this plan at all, reaching forward to comfort the girl while she was falling apart before him. If only he was normal, if only he wasn't a Todoroki, then she wouldn't have to go through this right now. Pulling her into a tight embrace, he replied, But what if I don't want to live without you? He heard her whimper then, resting her shaking hands on his back. You have to, if only for a little while. I already said I refuse to get in the way of your future. Go be a hero for the both of us, Shoto. The boy knew what she meant by those words, realizing that giving up his goal must have seemed like a slap in the face to her. It was nearly impossible for her to become a hero, the hero she wanted, without her quirk, and yet he was just going to give it up, even though he still had the potential. It seemed almost selfish to walk away when Amari didn't even have the choice to quit. He was silent for a moment before replying, If I agree to attend the interview, know that it doesn't mean I stopped my feelings for you. I've said it once and I will say it over and over again. You are the one I love, no matter what happens. Nodding her head under his chest, she lifted her chin up to meet his eyes, tears pouring down the corner of her face. I know. Then she closed her eyes as Todoroki leaned down and kissed her, sadly. His arms pushed her closer into him. In one last moment of adoration, they both knew after this they had to pretend like they were complete strangers, which wasn't really which wasn't the reality either of them wanted to face. Pulling away, Amari rested her head on Todoroki's forehead, breathing out a shaky breath as she spoke. Shoto, I love you, more than words can describe. You saved my life, so now it's time I saved yours. Shaking his head, the boy replied, You've got it all wrong, Amari. You already have. She felt his chest flip with a mix of sadness and overwhelming joy as she leaned down and kissed him again before whispering back, You should head on back first. It would look bad if we were sitting together after this. Todoroki paused for a moment before detaching himself from her, his fingers still tracing her face in a single line, not wanting to let go fully. Will you be alright? His question had so many meanings attached to it, but Amari knew she had to stay strong. If she fully broke down now, then that might change the decision about the interview, and that was something she knew couldn't happen, as much as she hated it. Yeah. At her confirmation, Todoroki fully let go, the girl feeling the sharp, cold breeze tearing through her all at once, now watching him leave slowly. Once he was completely gone, though, Amari's control snapped, covering her mouth to stop a heart-wrenching sob as she fell to her knees in devastation at the realization it was over. They were over. That was... I'm sorry I cried so much during that one. Probably made my reading shit, but I don't feel like re-recording that. That took too long to record. Oh, that was... God. Can't get the runny nose to go away now. Wow, that was... what do I call it? A roller coaster? Whatever the hell you want to call it. That was dramatic. That was... I gotta stop saying that was. My throat hurts from all the crying. Yeah, fucking when I dropped the pins, bent down, cut the back of my arm open in my chair. Should probably change the chair and go clean that off, but yeah, check out the writer. She's really good. I like her stuff. She'll be linked in the description. I'm gonna post this video and schedule it for tomorrow. Then I'm gonna go make sure I don't sound like I was crying. I'm gonna record a couple more videos. And then, you know, get some sleep because it's really late and I decided I'm gonna skip a shower tonight. I'll do it like in the morning or, you know, tomorrow night or something. Or maybe we'll wait another week. Only time will tell. Let's hope it's not a week. I can smell myself and it's becoming a problem. Shower's been broken for a couple days. So, today was like one of the first days that it's been fixed and usable for like baths and stuff. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna end the video here before I start to ramble. You will hear me in the next video. Bye-bye!